Hello everyone, and welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And in the last episode, we helped the Voivode out, who is kind of a jerk, by the way, but helped him and his daughter out. His daughter's boyfriend got stabbed, and he was in a bad sort of way. And like I said, the Voivode was just being really extremely difficult. And so that is basically what we did last time. Now, right now, we have several perk points that we actually need to get through, so let's go ahead and look at those. One of them is for main level, so let's say, driven by vengeance. After killing an opponent in close combat, you gain 10% more attack damage and faster stamina recovery. The effect lasts for 30 seconds. Memorable changes in reputation, good or bad, spread more widely across the land and among different groups of people. Undaunted Cavalier, if your charisma is higher than 20, your armor will be considered 15 higher. Now, I don't expect that we're going to be having high charisma right now. This could be very good later, but I think the most useful right now will be Driven by Vengeance. If you're in a fight with multiple people, this could definitely be quite useful, gaining 10% more attack damage and faster stamina recovery. So we are going to take that one. Now for strength, we have the Hardworking Lad, which is the one where if you are carrying a dead body, the weight counts as half. Wrestler, your strength will make it easier to win fights in the clinch, because it will be harder for your opponents to react. Tight Grip, the higher your strength skill, the easier it'll be for you to knock somebody out. And Train Hard, Fight Easy, the required strength for all weapons will be 5 lower for you, so I think this is going to be the one we're going to go with. In general, if you have a lower strength than the weapon requires, you will do less damage with it. On the other hand, if it's higher, you'll do slightly more. With this perk, you'll reach that state sooner, and that is a no-brainer for us, for sure. And next, Featherweight, fall damage is reduced by 30%. Dominant Hand, if you use a one-handed weapon without a shield, attacks will cost 20% less stamina. We are probably going to mostly be using a shield, although I am rethinking the mace. I think it is maybe a little bit too good. Now I said I didn't use the mace in the first game very much, and that's mostly true, although I did know, based on discourse about the game, that maces are actually were really overpowered in a way, because you can pretty much just hit somebody over the head and then they're basically dead. That seems to still be a thing in this game, so maybe we will switch over to a sword of some kind. We'll play it by ear for the moment, but for right now, this doesn't seem like something we're gonna want. And then dodges cost you 40% less stamina. Now, I haven't made use of dodges, but as far as I understand, you can basically dodge the same way that you block, except you use the jump button in order to dodge rather than right-clicking like you would on a block. So this may actually be something that's pretty good. It's actually really the only one I can think of. I'm not going to be taking any fall damage. Basically, if you're taking fall damage, you're like breaking your leg or something, so not really something that you want to do just for less damage. Now for vitality, you will bleed noticeably slower. Still, if you don't bandage up, you'll die eventually. You'll just have more time. That seems pretty good. If you don't overeat, get drunk, or starve for 3 consecutive days, your stamina will recover 20% faster and you will gain 10% more experience and vitality. If you overeat, get drunk, or starve, you will lose the perk effect and will need to reactivate it. And for Creative Soul, your energy will slowly replenish while doing alchemy, sharpening, blacksmithing, or playing dice. We're probably not going to be using that. Either one of these could be pretty good. I don't really end up bleeding too much in the first game. I don't know if I'm going to be bleeding a whole lot in this game, so this seems like the best one. But unfortunately, I am pretty bad at managing the nutrition or nourishment and everything like that, so we'll see if that ends up making any good use for us. Now for speech, we've got Polished Wares. When selling weapons, armor, or clothing that are in near perfect or perfect condition, you'll gain 10% more money for them. Adept of the Mystic Arts, you buy and sell potions, herbs, recipes, books, and alchemy-related items at 10% better prices. Or Artisan, you can sell and buy weapons, armor, and clothing at a better price. Probably just go with the Artisan. And now we have drinking. Nightcap. If you were meant to get a hangover while sleeping, now you won't. Plus, when you're drunk, all the beds are 10% more comfortable, so you sleep like a king. St. Vivian's Grace. Under the influence of alcohol, you'll be less likely to be injured by falling from a height. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of like the same thing as that agility one, so we'll just go with Nightcap here. Now, Houndmaster. Hunt, you can command Mutt to hunt and send him after wild game. Yeah, we won't really be needing that though, because our Henry just shoves giant amounts of honey into his stomach, and that is pretty much how he survives. So he doesn't really need to hunt for game. But we could do search. You can command Mutt to sniff out places of interest or hunt a game. To do this, select the free command. He'll alert you by barking if you find something. Yeah, not really too necessary either. When sleeping in the wilderness, your dog keeps you warm. The bed quality will therefore increase by 20%, but not exceeding 50% of bed quality. And Loyal Companion. When Mutt flees, the time it takes for him to come back to you is a quarter shorter. Okay, that's probably the best. He's not the best for combat anyways, but I guess we get 2, so we'll also take Body Heat. And next up is Combat. Warfare. Head protection. If you are wearing a helmet, blows to the head will cause 20% less damage. That is pretty much the best all around that I can think of. When fighting against superior numbers, yeah, we do kind of do that a lot, but I would say that the head protection is better. And Hardened Veteran. In combat, your stamina will regenerate. Yeah, I don't really see stamina regeneration actually being that big of an issue. It's mostly the damage, so we're just going to take that. And now we have Heavy Weapons, Shield Breaker. For heavy weapon attacks, your heavy weapon attacks will be harder for opponents to block with a shield. Additionally, it will take less time to completely destroy a shield. Blunt Force Trauma. Every time you fully charge your attack with a heavy weapon. Yeah, I don't tend to do that too much. I try to be a lot more quick in my attacks, I guess I could say. And Brute Force is basically all around more damage with heavy weapons. I think we're gonna go with Shield Breaker because, mainly because it makes it more difficult for them to block, but also being able to destroy shields a little quicker is kind of good. I'm not sure how often you'll actually make use of that, but that is the one that we're gonna go with. So, with all of our perks figured out, we're gonna go for the Bad Blood quest next, and it looks like for the most part, we do still need to go search Pavlena's room, but for the most part it looks like it's going to be over in Troskovitz. So I'm going to make my way back over to the Herb Woman's house and we'll search Pavlena's room, and then I will be back with you in a minute. So here we are back again at the Herb Woman's house, and we're going to go ahead and search through Pavlena's room really quick. Take out the torch because it's probably a little dark in here.
Pavlena, what have you left for me? Clothes. If she planned to run away, she'd have taken them with her. Like she got up and went straight out. She's got unfinished work here. Hey, this is a boy's cap. Does Pavlena wear it? Or did someone leave it here?
Okay, it looks like that's all we had to do. The marker is gone. We'll go ahead and head on out then. I don't even know if that is a necessary part of the quest or not, but we're gonna head over to Troskovitz. Okay, we did find a Riddler, I guess, here on the side of the road.
Hail, good man.
We're gonna try and talk with him.
Come on, don't be shy. I won't bite.
That's a relief. What were you going to offer me?
Curiosity killed the cat. No shame in that, though. They call me Barley.
You have a peculiar name.
If I were ordinary, well, that's just another way of saying boring. And boring's not for me. So I wander the roads collecting my riddles, and if I meet anyone I find interesting, I'll happily work a riddle on them.
A riddle? Very well. Let's hear it.
Now, listen carefully. What belongs to you alone, but is used more often by others? Any idea?
My name.
That's right! You have a learned head on those shoulders. The robes of a priest would suit you better than a sword.
They really wouldn't, I assure you.
More's the pity. But down to business. I have a proposition for you. You deserve a reward for solving my riddle. Except, you've caught me flat broke. I can give you some of what little I have. Or teach you some of what I know. What'll it be?
I'm always up for learning something new. What can you teach me?
I spend my days on the roads and my nights in the taverns. What interests you more?
Tell me about your experience on the road.
You can't beat a sturdy pair of shoes and a good supply of wine or ale with you. And keep an eye on the clouds. They can tell you if a big storm is brewing and whether you'll have time to find some shelter.
I'll bear that in mind.
And you'll stay dry. Farewell!
You have a kind master, eh? Greetings.
I'm looking for Pavlena, the daughter of the herb-woman from Zhelyov. Do you know her?
Aye, I do. Pavlena still comes here from time to time, selling baskets, ointments and whatnot. I ain't seen her around in a while, though. Why are you looking for her?
She hasn't been home for a long time, so Bozhena sent me to look for her. When she left, she was heading here.
If I was you, I'd go and ask at the rat house. Or Yezhek the cooper. That old goat had his eye on her one time. Only she wouldn't have him if he was the last man alive. Can't say I blame her. That Yezhek's a drunken sot.
Do you think anyone would want to harm Pavlena?
Bozhena's not too popular here since that misfortune with Yakesh's wife, Ludmilla. But no one holds a grudge against Pavlena. She was only a young lass at the time.
What was that about a misfortune with Ludmilla?
That was way back. She was the midwife here. She'd give the women herbs and whatnot when they called for her. But then something happened when she was helping out at Yakesh's. His wife, Ludmilla, died, and a child was stillborn. A tragedy it was, and then Bozhena, she left.
Just like that?
Well, to tell the truth, we drove her out.
Oh? Why was that?
Better ask Yakesh if you want to know more. He's often by his son's grave. It's next to the farm.
What's this Yezhek like? And what do you mean about him having his eye on Pavlena?
He wanted to get married, and no sensible girl around here would have a drunkard like him, so he figured Pavlena might be an easier bet. He promised her a home in the village, but the girl wasn't so dumb as to fall for it. He's hardly got 2 groschen to rub together, and his house ain't no palace neither. All she'd have out of it is a heartache, and a bunch of brats as pig ugly as their old man.
And where might I find this Yezhek?
If he ain't boozing here at the tavern, he'll be on the way here or at home.
Thanks. And do you think this Yezhek might have done something to her? Like abduct her because she scorned him?
Nah, he ain't got it in him. He's all mouth, but he'd never raise his hand to a woman. And even if he did, Pavlena would probably give him a hiding. Just recently, he got a black eye from this skinny fella here. He's a weakling and a wretch. He wouldn't have a chance with Pavlena.
I'm looking for Pavlena, the daughter of Bozhena from Zhelyov. She comes here selling baskets and other items.
Aye, I know her.
Do you know if she's been here in the last few days, Master Bailiff? I'm a bit worried about her.
I haven't seen her myself, but you can ask around the village. Try the houses along the road to Zhelyov. She'd have to pass that way.
What can you tell me about Pavlena?
She used to live here with her mother, but then we drove them out. She's not the kind of girl you'd notice much, but she knows how to take care of herself. I let her come round here because, well, maybe I've gotten soft in my old age. But I reckon children shouldn't have to pay for their parents' sins. Don't you think?
I heard something about that. Why did you drive them out back then?
Bozhena was our midwife. It ain't the cleanest trade, but it's needed. Women all over the domain used to call for her help with births. Only, as it turned out, bad help is worse than no help at all. I won't go digging up old grievances, but believe me, we had cause enough to drive that old witch out of here.
Has Pavlena got any friends here? Acquaintances?
There's Roman, who brings us wood.
Roman? Who's he?
A woodcutter like his father. May he rest in peace. He lives just off the green. His hair is red like embers. You can't miss him.
And Pavlena's on friendly terms with him?
Mm-hmm. You could put it like that. Roman's pa wouldn't be too happy about his son being with an outsider like her. But all he can do now is look down and weep. Not that Roman ain't a decent lad. Honest and hard-working. It wouldn't surprise me if Pavlena left her ma to be with him.
Well, I don't think that's likely. Pavlena left all her things at home.
Still and all. You could go and ask Roman if he's seen her or not.
Do you think anyone here would want to hurt Pavlena?
Troskovich is a decent village. You'd better watch your mouth.
I hear you're interested in Pavlena.
What's it to you?
Well, Pavlena's gone missing. Do you know anything about that?
Fuck, wait. No, I haven't seen her lately, and I got a pasting in the tavern, so I haven't been out lately. You can ask there.
Aye. I heard about that famous fight of yours.
So you see, I wouldn't wish no harm on Pavlena, even though she didn't want me. But I'm not sure you could say the same about that ginger-headed Roman of hers. That's where I'd look if I was you. His cottage is on the road to the butcher's.
Can I ask what happened between you and that midwife, Bojena? I heard you banished her from the village because of some mishap with your wife.
That was no mishap. The witch killed my son and damned him to hell.
Wait a moment. Start from the beginning. What do you mean she killed and damned your son?
My wife, Ludmilla, gave birth to 3 daughters. Quick and easy every time. The village women often scream all day and night before they bring their babies into the world. Not my Ludmilla. When she had Marushka, it was all over before the midwife even got here. But when Yaroslav was coming into the world, you know, I knew already I'd finally have a son. I never sent for no help. Why would I? After all, Ludmilla done it all on her own 3 times. And besides, that Bozhina is an unclean woman and a witch. Only this time, something went wrong. Of course, I wasn't there. Being a God-abiding man, I was outside. But Marushka comes running out, shouting, "Pa, send for Bozhina! Ma's poorly!" I thought twice about it, but then I sent for her. She came along with a little girl, Pavlena, and a whole sack of herbs. She started brewing right away, and before the night was out, she was pouring God knows what kind of concoction down Ludmilla's throat. It's a wonder she didn't poison her, the crone. I couldn't get a wink of sleep all night. It wasn't till daybreak that Bozhina came out of the house, carrying in her arms. They could see right off it was a boy. Like I said, only Yaroslav came out feet first. And as they were pulling him out, well, he was all Mother of God. I can't even say it. It was that Bozhina's doing, I tell you. If she hadn't pulled him out and left Ludmilla to manage herself, he could have lived.
I'm sure Bozhena didn't want to hurt your son. She was trying to help.
Help? By killing my son and condemning him to damnation? I asked the priest, and he told me every midwife has the sacred right to perform baptism when things go wrong. Like when it looks bad for the child, see? She can baptize him, make sure he gets to heaven. And you know what Bozhina did?
What?
Not a thing. She looked at that little body lying still and didn't do a damned thing. And my wife died a few hours later. So don't you tell me Bozhena was trying to help. That same evening, I got the other fellas from the village, and we drove that damned witch out beyond the boundary stone.
I see. She lives in the woods now.
A good thing, too. She hasn't shown up here since. Many times I told myself we should have done more to her, so she'd know how I felt.
I understand your pain, but it wasn't Bozhena's fault. She saved my life when I was wounded and lost in the woods. She's a good soul.
That's all well and good. But believe me, that witch will never wash clean her sins.
You're looking for Roman? I also need to find him. To ask if he knows where Pavlena is.
That sweetheart of his? Well now, I hadn't thought of that. They could be together somewhere, so you can help me look for him.
Where do you think Pavlena and Roman might be?
Not long ago, Roman was talking over a beer about how him and Pavlena wanted to leave and start a new life. Somewhere where no one knows her and her ma.
You think they'd really do it?
I took it all with a grain of salt, but after what he told me last time, anything is possible. For Christ's sake, he's got a whole house his pa left him. He wouldn't just leave it on account of her, would he?
Well, I don't know about Roman, but I've been at Pavlena's, and it didn't look like she was getting ready to leave.
She might have done it in secret, and she'd have reason enough. Believe me. Best to go and look in Roman's house. That should clear things up.
All right. Let's go and take a look at Roman's.
Great. That is, you can go there.
Hang on, you said you two were friends. Why would I go there alone?
For one thing, I have to work. And besides, how would it look if anyone saw me breaking down his door? My reputation would be ruined, whereas you, no offense, you're a stranger. You don't have to worry about your good name, do you? But me, I'd lose my livelihood.
How do I get into Roman's house?
Through the door, of course. Only it's locked. I tried it. You'll have to figure something out.
Oh, that's just great. All right. I'll go and have a look.
After you search the place, come back and let me know what you found. I'll be around here somewhere.
Nobody home. But maybe Pavlena was here. It's set for 2. Freshly eaten. And there are the baskets Pavlena came here to sell. They were here for sure. Maybe they just went for a stroll. Dushko might know about their favorite spots. I searched Roman's house.
And what did you find?
Now, there's no one there, but Pavlena had been there for sure. The table was set for 2, and I found the baskets that she sells too.
You're right. It sure does look like she was there.
It can't have been long ago either. The food was still fresh. Any idea where they might have gone?
Well, they've got a favorite spot down by the stream. You could try looking there.
Where exactly?
There's a ditch leading from Roman's house to the stream. Follow it down the hill. When you come to a place where the stream flows between the 2 big boulders, turn left and go straight. There it is, under an old linden tree.
All right. Thank you.
But, mind you don't walk into the middle of anything, awkward. And tell that lazy bastard to get his ass to work. I'm not going to do his work for him.
This must be the place Dushko was telling me about. How the local lads bring their girls over here. Christ, there must have been a fight here. This is surely Pavlena's. A piece of her dress. This doesn't look good. If I give it to Mutt to sniff, he might catch a scent. covered in blood. Used as a weapon, maybe.
Search.
Sick! Are you alright? Your mother sent me.
Yeah, I'm alright. A little bruised, but nothing serious.
What happened?
They killed him. They smashed his head in with a rock.
Who did they kill?
Roman. He was my sweetheart. They killed him by the stream.
Why?
He was protecting me from them.
It was 2 against 1. You did the right thing, killing that bastard otter.
Can we go home now?
I want to ask you something before we leave. Are you alright? You're not hurt?
No, I'm fine. Just a few scratches. It's nothing.
How did you get here?
Me and Roman were going down to the stream. He went back to get something, and I went on ahead. Those 2 bastards jumped me by the stream. I don't know what they wanted to do to me, but Roman stepped in. Only one of them grabbed a rock and...
I know. You don't have to say any more.
When it was all over and Roman was lying on the ground, Otter tied me up and dragged me here. I tried to make a run for it, but that bastard set his dog on me.
Do you know why they wanted to hurt you?
Yakesh put them up to it. For a long time after they chased us out, I didn't dare go to Troskovitz. Ma always warned me not to. Only then, I met Roman. I should have known the people there hadn't forgotten about us. And that Yakesh still wanted revenge.
Tell me something about Roman. What was he like?
He was a woodcutter in Troskovitz. We were... together. Sorry. I can't talk about it now.
What exactly happened? How did Roman die?
He was trying to protect me. If he hadn't come along, I don't know what those beasts would have done to me. Only that big brute grabbed a rock and smashed Roman over the head with it. He fell straight to the ground. I could swear he was looking at me the whole time. Even though he was lifeless, like he was trying to tell me to run.
That's all I need to know.
So, can we please go now?
Come on. I'll escort you.
I don't want to spend another moment here.
Here we are. Pavlena's fine.
Pavlena, let me look. Are you all right?
I'm fine, Ma. They
They abducted her.
God almighty. Who would do such a thing?
They were hired hands from Troskovitz.
And did they do anything to you?
No, they just tied me up. But they were Yakesh's hands. They would have killed me.
Yakesh? I might have known he wouldn't leave us in peace. Hasn't he hurt us enough already? Isn't it enough that we have to live here because of him?
Ma.
I knew it would come to this. Henry, I need one last service from you.
I'd be glad to help.
Yakesh is to blame for everything. For us being driven out, for Pavlena being abducted.
And for everything else.
Everything leads back to him and his old hatred. We'll never have peace as long as he's alive.
What are you trying to say?
I want you to kill him.
What? Are you serious?
Yes. It's either him or us.
Yakesh told me how it was with his son. He said you could have baptized him, but you didn't.
What? Are you trying to say now that he's in the right? That child was stillborn, and his mother needed help. Should I have let her die to christen her dead child?
I understand. That wouldn't be right.
Yakesh didn't think so.
I understand. And I agree. I'll do what you ask. It's only right and just.
You will? It really must have been the will of God that you crossed our path. Thank you, Henry.
May be made worthy of the promises of Christ. Pour forth, we...
Who are you praying for?
For my son, Yaroslav.
How come he's buried there and not at the cemetery?
He died during birth and was never christened, so he couldn't be buried in the cemetery.
God have mercy. I'm sorry about that.
Aye, me too. If it hadn't been for that treacherous old hag, he wouldn't be here under a tree. He'd be in the churchyard, as he ought to be. The poor, innocent soul. Or standing right here next to me.
When did your son die?
Well, Yaroslav would have been 5 years old now.
What about your other children?
One of my daughters got married and moved out. Marushka and Olina are still here. Once they get married, I'll be left all alone on the farm.
Why? One of them could live on the farm with her husband, couldn't she? Lots of fellows would give the right arm for a place like this.
Aye, true enough. Only a father should pass his livelihood on to his son, goddammit! Don't tell me it's different where you come from.
My pa was a blacksmith. He taught me his trade since I was little. He wasn't my father by blood, but he took me as his own from the day I was born.
Really? What kind of man would take in another's child?
An honourable man. Blood isn't everything. You know yourself. You'll find husbands for your daughters, and you'll be glad to have them take care of you in your old age. Like it should be. And one day your livelihood will pass on to your grandchildren. Nothing ends.
I suppose you're right.
I don't have any more questions. Thanks. Look, I know relations between you and Bozhena the herb woman aren't good, but it's time to put an end to the animosity.
Where are you going with this? That witch deserves no pity.
But you're not entirely without blame. Bozhena told me everything, but whatever happened between you, it has to end now. Bozhena came very close to losing her daughter on account of your feud. Your farmhands abducted her, and they killed her sweetheart.
But I had nothing to do with that. They did it of their own free will, not on my orders.
That means nothing. They did it because of you. They wanted you to be indebted to them.
But that's not my fault, and I don't see why I should have to make up with Bozhena on account of it.
Listen, I know a thing or two about revenge. And believe me, sometimes you just have to say enough and turn the other cheek. Because otherwise, it will never end.
You know nothing. I can't simply forgive her.
Well, then do it on account of Pavlena. After all, she's not to blame for anything. But she's the one who's suffering most from your feud.
Christ almighty. You're talking like the parish priest. I'll send Bozhena compensation. I never wanted anything to happen to her daughter, and she's the one who suffered most from that banishment. She can't have been more than 10 years old. I give my word, that I won't do anything bad to them. And those two fools of hands, they won't show up here again. And if they do, I'll haul them off to the bailiff myself. I swear to God, Bozhena and Pavlena could return to the village.
Very well. It's about time this chain of vengeance was broken for good. Give me the money, and I'll take it to Bozhena. But God alone knows whether she'll forgive you.
Thank you. It's time for us all to get on with our lives. I hope Bozhena will understand that.
Greetings.
About Yakesh.
Is it done?
I didn't kill him, because I finally managed to get him to agree.
Agree? On what?
I told him everything, and it was clear from his reaction that he wasn't directly to blame. His farmhands did it all by themselves. He was so sorry that he gave me coin for you and Pavlena in recompense. It's quite a lot of money. Pavlena could use it.
And you really believe him? That he'll leave us alone?
Well, I don't think he'll ever forgive you. But I believe he won't try to hurt you anymore.
I hope you're right. I'd hate to regret it later. Thank you, Henry. If it wasn't for you, I'd have lost my daughter. You should keep half the coin.
No, I can't accept it. Pavlena will need the money more than I do.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Keep it.
Henry, what would we do without you? God himself must have sent you to us. If it wasn't for you, I'd have lost my daughter. I'll be forever grateful to you. If you need anything, come and visit us. We'll be happy to see you.
And there it is, another quest in the books, and hopefully everything works out here for the herb woman Bozhena and her daughter Pavlena. Now, we do have a little bit more time left. I did acquire a few more perk points, but I think we'll wait just a little bit longer before we deal with that. So I'm going to go look around and see if we can't find another quest. Hopefully it'll be somewhat on the shorter side, but if not, then we will have a bit longer of a episode today.
Oh, gentle knight.
Greetings,
Why
friend.
linger
Good
on?
day, good day.
What are you two talking about then?
A peasant like you would never understand.
I'll have you know you're talking to the right hand of a nobleman, you nobody.
You? But... sorry, but how is anyone to know that when you're dressed in those rags?
Have a drink with us, worthy sir.
Well, why not? I'll gladly have a drink. My name is Henry.
Then sit, noble Enrico, and give your verdict on our dispute.
Aye, don't be shy. Come and sit with us.
It's Henry. H-E-N... whatever.
Ah, any tanner or bathhouse boy could be called Henry. Enrico is nobilissimo.
Oh, for the love of God. Will you just tell me what you were discussing?
Ah, it's just that my dear friend George here is a vulgar louse who knows as much about the art of poetry as a baying donkey.
To tell the truth, my last encounter with verse didn't end all that well.
Really? Tell us all about it.
So, are you going to tell me what you're talking about?
It's about nothing less than the very essence of the art of poetry.
And also about the fact that Michael here hasn't got his oats for ages and it's got his brain in a twist.
Kindly ignore our friend George here. He's been a simple soul ever since he was dropped on his head as a baby.
Freedom. I figured out poetry ain't to be found in inspiration from the muse. All the truth in the world is right there in ale, roast pig, and fucking.
To the point where fornication and drinking leave no time for actual composing. Better to forego the pleasures of the flesh and give oneself to art. Honorate l'altissima poeta.
Aye, aye. Keep your hair on, mate. As I said, he's not in his right mind. He once met an Italian poet, and ever since he thinks he's Dante Alighieri.
Alighieri, you dolt. So what do you think, Enrico? Where should a poet seek inspiration?
Well, I rather doubt it's to be found in beer or some wench's cleavage. Those might be nice to look at, but an artist should seek inspiration in higher things.
My very words. Let's drink to that.
However you look at it, you, my friend, as a worldly...
And highborn.
Clever.
Experienced.
Intrepid.
Unique.
In short, just the right fella.
You might be able to help us out with something.
What are you after?
Enrico, we are in need of an adventurer.
My name's Henry. H-E-N... something...
In short, Enrico, we're in need of an adventurer, a man of action, a man of goodwill, a man of knowledge, a man.
A fucking good fella.
A fellow who helps his fellow man. Aspiring minstrels.
If only you knew, mate, what genius is sleeping in our throats. Songs just waiting for a voice to raise you to the heights of glory.
Imagine it. An ode to Henry, the hapless, hoe-wielding hero, harassing the heartless hordes of
humans?
That's it! Hark! Henry the Lionheart! The only thing missing for you to achieve glory is...
a loot! We need a loot!
All right, but where would I even get a thing like that?
In the words of the poet, una volta corre il cane, e una altra la lepre. He who seeks shall find, or something like that.
And finding it won't be hard. We've done a bit of snooping, and there's only one in these parts.
It's hanging all forlorn on a wall at the carpenters in Troskowitz. The house directly opposite the Rathaus.
It ain't no use to him, but he won't sell it, the tight ass.
While if it were in our hands...
In our hands, it will sing like a nun on Sunday.
And it will be the torch lighting our way from this provincial purgatory to the gates of Kuttenberg.
Torch? Shit, you want to fucking burn it?
It's a metaphor, you ignorant oaf.
All right, I'll see what I can do. Please just quieten down for a bit.
Who just came barging in? You're not allowed here. What the hell are you doing here? What on earth possessed you to creep into someone else's house?
Don't you worry, Goodman. I'm here for trade. That is, if there's anything to be bought here at all. I see you have very little to offer.
No, so the gent's turning his nose up, is he? Just watch if I don't take a pair of pliers and twist it back down again. Out of my house, you scarecrow. I told you to get out of here, didn't I?
Don't you worry, Goodman. I just popped in for a chat. You're cooped up in here all day by yourself. A bit of company would do you good, wouldn't it?
Well, not many folks combined, that's true. So how can I help you, young man?
The little bird told me you're repairing a very nice lute.
What a beauty. You don't see craftsmanship like that today. Young fellows these days, all they want is to get the job done quick and get their coin.
Can I take a closer look at it?
Don't even think of putting your grubby paws on it. That instrument is worth more than the head between your ears. You might drop it and break it. A gent from Kuttenberg brought it in to be fixed, but he's taking his time to come and collect it.
What do you do here all day long?
I'm happy to sit here, keeping an eye on my old workshop, and the lasses passing by. If a little mead should come my way, I'd like to drink to the good old days.
Would you care to join me if I fetched you some?
As sure as Jesus was a carpenter, same as me.
Listen, how about I buy that lute from you?
It's not for sale.
That Kuttenberger won't be coming back for it anytime soon, though. I reckon he saw how you botched the repair and decided he'd be better off buying a new lute altogether.
What? What are you talking about?
No, sorry. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, come on, old man. Everything has a price.
Maybe in Crooktown or wherever you're from. But we're honest folks here. We don't sell other people's stuff.
Don't tell me you couldn't use a few groschen from Mead now, could you? All the same, that son of yours leaves you here thirsty all day.
Don't talk about my boy like that.
You're right. I'm sorry. He doesn't have it easy, does he? His customers disappear, his father's an old drunk.
Look, lad, you're really starting to piss me off. Watch what you say.
Must be dull sitting here all day. Don't you ever feel like going for a stroll?
Sitting watching the world go by suits me fine. Why would I go flitting about with my creaky old knees? What's it to you anyway, youngster?
Oh, I was just trying to keep the conversation flowing. That's all. I'll have a look at you. I've got some mead here. Fancy a drink?
Wow, mead! I could drink that till the cows come home. If only it didn't make me so drowsy. Look here, though. Don't say nothing to my lad. He'd have a fit if he knew I was boozing.
My lips are sealed. I promise.
Well, good health then. If I should happen to doze off, don't disturb me.
Oh, a nice instrument. Maybe I should learn to play it and become a wandering minstrel.
What's that supposed to be?
I've got that loot for you.
Incredible! Magnificent! Fascinating.
You really got it! Give me that lovely thing so I can fondle her.
Such a noble instrument is just begging to celebrate art and life.
It's like it's saying, hey, with me in your hands, you'll be able to grab any wench you want.
How can you take such a fine thing and abuse it for vulgar gain?
Abuse? No, friend. Put to good use.
Can you even play it?
Ah, there's nothing to it. You only have to hold it and strum.
What's that you have there? Hey, let me see. How the hell do you... hold it? Ah. Oh, Anna has tiny tits, like a pair of cherry pits. Uh-oh.
Christ, no!
The idiot broke the strings!
Calm down. These things happen.
I'm sorry, but... mate. Oh, I best be off now, eh?
Fuck! Shit! You fucking whoreson! Your ma should have dumped you on the manure heap the moment you were born. What's gonna happen with that loot?
Use it for firewood. It'll burn nicely with that lacquer.
What? Henry, sick him! I mean, give him what for?
Hey, why don't we all just simmer down? After all, it was an accident.
Yeah, of course it was an accident. Then I wanted to give it a stroke.
There you go. Now apologise nicely and clear off.
All right. I'm sorry. Sorry. Forget me. Forgive me. Forget it.
Now what are we supposed to do? Without strings, it's just firewood, you know?
Our dreams are shattered. The rose-tinted skies of glory are obscured by dark clouds. We'll be toiling in filth till we breathe our last.
Farewell to Kuttenberg. Farewell to you lovely city damsels.
We could replace those strings with new ones, couldn't we?
Look, old pal. Henry himself is offering to lend a hand.
The hunter Vostatek told me once that he made some strings for someone. He can make some for us.
Vostatek? I know him. In fact, he owes me.
Really? Damn. Too bad he doesn't owe us. Who knows what he'll charge me and Michael for the strings?
Sometimes the price is just too high to pay.
Especially when you ain't got a groschen to your name.
All right. I'll go and see what he says.
All praise and glory to you. May you and all your kin be honored for 7 generations for all you have done for us unfortunate artists.
Quick! Gah! Wait! Wait! Wait!
I've been waiting for you.
Stop! You fucker! Dick! I'm trying to get strings for a loop, and I hear you know all about that.
I do, but it ain't so straightforward. You have to sacrifice an animal for that.
You mean an altar? Candles, mysterious chanting and stuff?
Nah, nothing like that. You just have to get a sheep, find the thinnest gut, and weave strings from it. You can eat the rest.
I don't know how to gut animals.
Well, you're just gonna have to learn. Run along to the woods and bag a deer, or a few hares, eh? You won't get much of any use out of them at first, but after a bit of practice, you'll get there.
And meanwhile, I'll clear half your forest of game.
You'd have your work cut out, lad. But if you'd rather, you can always buy those guts from a butcher.
Isn't there any other way?
Look, lad, I told you what you wanted to know. I'll make lute strings for you if you bring me the sheep gut.
What did you say I need for the strings?
Guts, you giblet. Kill a sheep, open it up, gut it. Easy as pie.
You have a kind master, eh, mutt? What would you like?
I'll have a look at the wares. I've got that sheep gut for you.
I hope you killed the poor creature before you pulled it out of its rectum. Or did you chicken out and buy it somewhere? Not that I care. Wait here a while and I'll make them strings for you.
Well then, does the best forester in the land have some problems I could help him with?
Henry, you buffoon. I'm not the best in the land, but I'm in these parts, though. Know why? Because I'm the only one here. Well, apart from Varel, that is.
So you don't have any problems?
As it happens, there is something. Recently, my supplies have been running out quickly for some reason. And you know how much I like a drink when I'm taking a break on the bench behind my house.
Indeed I do. It was me who carried you through the forest the last time you took a break.
Aha, these things happen. So, I need to top up my supplies. Run along to Troskovitz for a bottle or two for me. Take this coin here.
And what would you like to drink, gamekeeper Vostatek?
I call it the poacher's hideout. Mix a goblet of mead with wine, add a bit of saffron.
I've never heard of this poacher's hideout brew before.
Hold on! Poachers! I need help with poachers. The bastards. They think they can turn the woods into their own territory, but they won't get the better of me. I'll send you after them. You're hard as nails, you are. What's more, I'll give you a decent reward for getting rid of them vermin.
That sounds better.
Aye, so I don't forget. Hand back the coin I gave you for the booze.
But there's some things I need before I go after the poachers. I have to get my gear fixed up and so on. Think of yourself as my patron.
You're a schemer, lad. All right. Then, keep the coin. But you haven't told me if you'll actually do it or not.
I'll help you with the poachers. The hunters will become the prey.
That's the stuff. They should be trembling already.
Tell me where I can find the poachers, then. So I can pounce straight on them.
Hold your horses. I want them alive, not hacked to pieces. So don't butcher them.
I wasn't planning on killing them, you know.
Glad to hear it. You'd be surprised how many hotheads have offered to do just that. I've had enough of hearing, "They're all dead, Vostatek," and then finding out the smart arse spent the whole day in the tavern instead. So if you do kill a poacher, I want proof.
No gutting, you said. So that's settled.
Look, let's get to the point. We have to focus on Rock Tower Pond and the forests around it. That's where game's becoming scarcest.
Can I count on your help?
Ha, you bet. We'll divide it up into patches and make a noose no poacher will escape.
Patches? What do you mean?
I'll take the area around the gamekeeper's lodge, say. Maybe some poachers get the idea it's darkest under a candlestick. My helpers will search the smaller woods, and you take the rest. With those young legs of yours, you'll comb the forest nice and quick.
Aye, right. I get it. That's the best idea you could come up with, eh?
Aye, Henry.
Where should I look?
I already told you, didn't I? Stop being so scatterbrained, Henry. Try looking around Rock Tower Pond. To the west of the pond, there's some dense forest on the rocks. It's easy to find because there's a small ruined cottage below the woods. Otherwise, it's nothing but boulders and an easy place to break your leg. And someone like me, who likes a drink, well, you know.
I don't have the best memories of that place. We made camp there the first time we came to Trotsky region.
So you can be reminiscing there. Have a swim. It's a nice clean pond. I don't know why people don't fish there instead of poaching. Easier to catch a bite.
Let's say I go into the forest and come across some bloke. What then?
The main thing is to make sure he really is the poacher. We'd have some explaining to do if you accused an innocent man.
That shouldn't be too hard. If he's hunting, I'll seize him. If he isn't, I'll leave him alone.
That's no way to go about it, Henry. You have to be certain, right? The Rock Tower poacher, say. He tends to spend the day holed up, only coming out before dawn or after dusk. He probably knows I like to sleep in and spend my evenings having a drink. So I won't be trudging round the pond at those times.
So the best thing would be to catch him in his camp?
Aye. He'll have dead animals, hides, bones, meat. He won't be able to talk his way out of that. Them poachers have also started using signs to mark their hunting grounds. They bend a branch of some pine to make a kind of circle. But what's the point of describing them, since I've got a few samples? They're at my cottage, next to the outhouse, where I have this lean-to. Take a look so you know what to watch out for.
Where should I take the poacher? To you?
To the Troskovitz bailiff, even though he's a bit, well. Look, I'll send him a message so he knows we're going to be bringing him some poachers. It would be just like him to let them go because you were acting without authorization.
Well, you could go with me.
And leave the lodge unattended? Not a chance. Not to mention that leg of mine since I jumped down from the tree.
I understand. You'd rather stand, or rather sit, guard. I'll be off then.
Good luck, and let me know how it goes. I hope you give them what for, because I'm sick and tired of them. They've been at it for 2 months now. Or is it 4?
You can count on me.
Why linger on?
I got those strings for you.
Ah, how the hills shall ring out in gladness to their glorious sound.
We'll fix the loot and head off for Kuttenberg, fame and fortune. All praise to you, friend.
Right. I hope that's all you need.
If only, Henry, old pal. It's just there's still one little fuck-up. Friend, we have a problem. The innkeeper doesn't want us to leave. Says Kuttenberg isn't the place for us.
Can you imagine? He who never set foot outside his village wants to block 2 free souls in their path to fame.
And fortune.
And recognition.
And under the skirts of town maidens.
Beast. In short, dear friend, you must have a word with him. You're worldly wise. He's sure to listen more to you than to us.
Hang on. How can the innkeeper keep you from going anywhere?
Well, you know, he's incapable of grasping that the artistic soul needs to fly as free as a bird.
Aye, he's an
Ignoramus.
Besides, we owe him a bit of coin.
God, why?
Well, why don't you pay him back then?
That's just it. We'd love to. We could always scrape together a few groschen.
But it's not coin he's after. He wants us to work off our debt.
He lets you two drink on credit? How so?
Because he's a damn crook.
He knows we can't pay back our debt outright, but he counts every wretched sip we take and adds it to the burden we have to shoulder.
Oh, like that.
Well, why don't you just up and run for it?
And sully our honor? Never.
And also, the innkeeper would tell the bailiff and he'd come looking for us. We don't want to end up in the stocks.
Why do I have to be the one to solve it for you?
Because we don't have time. We have to concentrate on composing our songs, creating art. Art!
Believe me, friend, once we get to Kuttenberg and make a shitload of coin, we'll pay you back double.
Tell you what, tenfold.
I'll have a word with him, and we'll see what happens.
That's the spirit.
Let's drink to that!
I hear Michael and George have run up a small debt with you.
A small debt? They owe me a whole heap of work, my friend. A month ago, I told them to dig a hole for shit behind the barn, and I'm still waiting. There's a privy there, but now it's full. The shit has nowhere to go but downhill. It's flowing down to the bathhouse. The other day, they promised that if I poured them a drink, they'd haul sacks of chaff to the barn. They boozed for free all night and swathed down sausages till they were as greasy as a cart axle. But that chaff is still out in the damp and rain.
Can't they just pay what they owe you?
This has nothing to do with the coin. Those two need to learn some responsibility. Damn their idle hands. Nothing can cure their laziness but labour.
So, haul some sacks and empty the latrine. And then the debt is paid?
Aye, but I'll bet my boots that even if those two miraculously got off their asses, they'd still manage to rack up another debt in no time.
What is it Michael and George have to do to pay off their debt?
Haul sacks of chaff to the wagon and empty the overflowing latrines. Once that's done, we'll be quits.
Couldn't someone else do the work instead of Michael and George? They'd just do a shoddy job anyway. You know them.
Well, they'd have to do it again then. I'm telling you. Until the chaff's under cover and the latrine's clean enough to eat out of, them two owe me.
Forget about those two fools. You're not responsible for their upbringing. A decent pile of coin could smooth everything over, couldn't it?
Look, my friend, have you even taken a look at that privy? The heap of coin you'd need couldn't be amassed even by the king himself.
Oh, damn. This is throwing my back out. From my neck to my arse. At least it's done. Oh, good grief. What on earth are they eating to shit this out? I should have ditched those songsters ages ago.
Pardon.
The jobs have been done. Like you wanted.
But you did the donkey work while those two just slouched off, eh? Fuck. How is that supposed to drum the idleness out of them?
It won't. Well, what can you do?
Nothing. The job's done, so the debt is settled, I suppose. Michael and George can go to the devil for all I care.
Thanks. I'm sure they'll be delighted.
Sooner or later, someone will wring their necks anyway. Not everyone will be as soft on them as me.
And as for my meter...
I've squared things with the innkeeper. Your debt's been settled.
Our saviour! We knew you'd support our artistic souls and save our mortal bodies.
May your name live in glory!
Your glory shall be sealed by the song we wrote for you.
Oh my god, what have you done?
Fuck yeah! For you and about you, our hero!
Definitely not going to sing those words, right?
Which words?
You know exactly
I'm
the
just
words.
joking. Right, you ready?
Can't tune the strings.
You've got one job. Good? Right.
When it seems you're out of luck, there's just one man who gives a fuck. A friend who'll never leave you stuck. Now who can that friend be? Well?
Ludiek?
Henry, our hero Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. Henry, reliable Henry, he gets the job done the best he can. Oh, oh, oh.
Watch out, here we go.
Oh, oh. I can't hear you in the back. When you want to string your lute and trumpet with your bag drum, who will pull a sheep gut out through the creature's rectum? Oh, Henry, we thank you, Henry, the fellow who helps his fellow man. His fellow man! Henry, let's drink to Henry, he gets the job done the best he can. Yeah!
So, how did you like it?
Weren't we fantastic? I tell you, that loot really gave it a punch.
I'd say we were incomparable. Chi la dura la vince. You can't keep a good man down. The world awaits us.
Awaits us with open arms.
In all my born days, I never heard anything quite as dreadful.
Are you saying you didn't like it?
It's clear you're incapable of understanding, incapable of appreciating the subtle nuances of our artistic performance.
You're a barbarian like all these other fuckers. But never mind, we like you anyway.
Dear Enrico, thank you for everything. It's time for us to shake the dust of this God-forsaken place off our feet and seek our fortune in the big wide world.
Kuttenberg, here we come!
New life, here we come.
Now, hold your horses, fellas. What about my reward for everything I've done for you?
We've already paid you back, my friend.
Didn't you hear the ode we wrote about you?
Look, that's all very nice. But what about some coin?
Please, Henry, don't be so base. No gold in the world can match the luster of our velvet voices.
Just wait till that song about you makes the rounds. You'll be so famous you'll have to fend off the women with a pitchfork.
Besides, you've gained the most valuable thing in all the world. Friends.
Farewell, friend. And thanks for everything.
Okay, well that was certainly interesting. It was definitely a nice little palate cleanser, I suppose, for the tragic quest that came before it. Now, we did get a few new equipment items that we got during a fight with some bandits. We'll go ahead and equip that now. And let's see, equip that. And we'll just leave the shoes that we already have on. And apparently we also have a comparison I didn't even notice. So we'll go ahead and equip that onto our horse. Looks a lot nicer. And we'll take this out. Let's see, any of it better than what we have on? Nope. Although we may end up switching over to this longsword, but otherwise we're gonna try and sell the rest of this stuff that we got. And at the beginning of the next episode, we'll deal with the perk points, and we will probably go and deal with those poachers that we started the quest for when we were over at Bostatex. And otherwise, that is going to be it for this episode. So I thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.